Check out the First Man Men's Lifestyle Supplement by using the links below. Guys, quickly, just before this video starts, and probably the next one too, I've just listened to it back and there's a slight hum in the background. I apologise if it makes the audio a little bit shit. But I found the problem already. It's just the back of the mic wasn't completely plugged in. So I've already recorded one and it's already solved. So apologies guys, you know, it's annoying because I've recorded some really good audios today. So I'm probably gonna put them out anyway because I can't be bothered to redo them. I think when you try and redo something, it's never as good. But the problem's solved. It's very simple. It's just from moving all the stuff around. I think it slightly came loose, so there's a slight hum in the background. But yeah, it's annoying, but try and listen to the information more than the audio quality. Appreciate it, guys. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. Obviously we've changed the setup here. I quite like it. I guess that kitchen in the background, not too good, but everything that I bought is black, so it blends in pretty well. You can see the sofas now outside. If you haven't seen the picture on Instagram, go and take a look. It looks unbelievable. I love it. I have to keep knocking the cushions down and just leaving them flat because the wind keeps blowing them over. So it's a little bit frustrating, but it's such a small problem. It's not, you know, the biggest issue in the world. And I'm quite grateful actually, because if there's a decent breeze, I think in summer it's going to get really hot up here. So if there's a decent breeze up there, that would be really nice. You know, there's one corner over there that you guys can actually see that is, once it hits like 10, 11 o'clock, the sun is blocked from that area. So I think in summer and whatnot, that'd be a nice little like safe haven to go and sit when I'm absolutely boiling. Don't know what you think of this camera angle, guys. I think the lighting's better. The other one made me look like shit. I actually got ill for like 3 days as well. If you watch the previous two videos, you can see I've got like, my eyes are like this. I've got massive like blue bags under my eyes. I don't look well. And I ended up getting like a cold. I think I was just stressed. I wasn't eating well, I wasn't training, normal routine was out the window. I was moving stuff up and down the stairs in this place for days and I was just tired as shit. And yeah, I ended up getting a cold. I went out for like 3 beers with my mates that I haven't seen in years and I got ill. I've drank alcohol 4 times in 4 years and got ill off the back of each one. That's excluding like the odd glass of wine or whatever. But when I've actually gone out and had like 1, 2, 3 pints, whatever, I've come back late, like 1 in the morning or whatnot. Like I've always got ill. And I think it just comes down to how busy my life is so that when I add something else extra in, I'm already fucked. I'm already depleted and I just can't keep it going. But that's enough of this story of the week. I just wanted to update you guys because obviously I haven't been uploading content. I always feel guilty, so I just have to explain myself in that sense. But we're moved in now. We've got all the essentials. Obviously there's a lot more shit that I want to do, but I've paid 6 months up front. I'm just going to take it steady, bring the podcast stuff in, get the second bedroom sorted. The tables out there, they're going to come in soon and just take it step by step. But with that level of investment, I think I'm going to pay like another year up front because my life's pretty fucking good here. I'm really enjoying it already. So the potential is massive, so I can keep that going. But the purpose of today's video, guys, is to talk about the Great Filter. And it really like jogged my memory because 2 kind of things have happened to me. Obviously with this move, the car that I've added in, I feel like my shape and my look has like kind of come together recently. And I'm in the male advantage. I might do a video on this soon, but I'm in the male advantage. I've hit it. Like the last month or so, I entered it, I can feel it. The difference is enormous. Like female attention's gone through the roof. Like it's just different, okay? I'm in the male advantage now. It's quite nice to be in. And that kind of like jogged my memory of something that I used to call the Great Filter. But I never made a video on it until me and Hamza had a conversation. And I said to him, I was like, look, the thing is, I was like, you're 24 right now and you're killing it. Like life's amazing. Congratulations to Hamza because he's smashing it. It's unbelievable. Follower base just flying up. He's going traveling soon. If I was 24, it'd be unbelievable, right? But I said to him, I was like, mate, if you think it's good now, you wait. Because once you get to like 25 years old through to like 29, 30, whatever, is what I call the Great Filter. And if you haven't, excuse me guys, there's still a cold, some remnants of it. if you haven't been working on yourself, if you haven't been putting in the time, if you've been more focused on women, like chasing women, getting laid, that sort of thing, you haven't been focused on like making money and all the other shit that comes with it that I always promote to you guys, then you will reach the great filter around about 25 years old, and you will watch your life decline very, very rapidly. You will look worse. You can't fight things anymore. Like the guys that were naturally handsome, they were naturally chads and whatnot, it starts to get away from them. You know, they just age. They start losing their hair. They can't stay in shape and eat shit anymore. They need to go to the gym, or they don't look as big as they used to. There's so many guys that I used to go to school with that were rugby players that I thought, wow, that guy is massive. And I bump into them today and I'm like 4 or 5 inches taller. I'm 10 inches wider. Do you know what I mean? I'm just actually in shape, and they're just puffy. They just don't look too good. And you think to yourself, at school you used to be the man. How weird is that, right? And our kind of perception of what we think is actually jacked, or what we think is actually wealthy, or what is actually a handsome guy, you know, it all changes because things evolve, things get more advanced as you go into adult life. Like I said to you guys before, oh, we're at penthouse money now. Oh shit, we're at have 3 kids, get married and get a mortgage stage now. Like that, like things just change as a man, and you can't really anticipate it. Nobody prepares you for it. You go from structured education, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, to just being out in the wilderness on your own in the middle of the desert, and you go, fuck, it all relies on me. I need to decide who I want to be. I am in control of every aspect here. If I don't get up in the morning, go to the gym, I'm going to look like shit. If I order a pizza every single night, I'm just not going to look as good as I used to. I'm going to start gaining weight. My skin's not going to be as good. If I don't do a nice skincare routine before I go to bed and get an early night, I'm going to start looking like shit. Like there's no parents, there's no teachers, there's no career advisor at your school being like, look, now Chris, you have to focus. Like in child life, in kind of growing up life, in the educational stage, if you go off the rails, you've got 5 or 6 people that try and rein you back in and say, hey, you need to deal with this. Now come on, you're better than this. You know what I mean? In adult life, if you went out 7 nights a week, drinking, doing coke, nobody really gives a fuck. You'll turn up at your job and your boss will be like, you're fired, get out. Like nobody cares. Nobody's going to put an arm around you and whatever. You know, and that's an extreme scale. But I'm also talking about like, if you just don't wake up in the morning, go to the gym, nobody's going to encourage you to go and do it. If you don't try and make more money, like nobody's going to be like, come on, stop watching Netflix, actually do something. And that is why by the time you hit 25 to 30, you know, it's mainly in that bracket. I say 29 because I'm 29, but I can probably claim 30 here. During that window, you will see how hard people have been working. You will see evidence of them slacking off, because it's 23 years old, maybe you're out of school, out of education for like 2-3 years. It's not enough time that's passed to show you what you've done. But once you get to, like I said, 25, you see the first signs of that. That's a 5-6 year bracket where you've not done a lot, you've not been working hard, you've not been in the gym. There's going to be negative results off the back of that, or positive results depending on what you've done. And with each year that you get closer to 30, like I said, that great filter happens. And I had some statistics on screen earlier. This is quite sick actually, isn't it, guys? I can just bring it up on screen and just talk to you lot. It says, I was looking at obesity and when it really like kind of kicks off. And they were saying that the adult age group least likely to be obese, of course, was 16 to 24. That's not adults though, is it? That's 2 years off. But 16 to 24, with 56% at normal weight, which is pretty shit, isn't it? And 37% overweight or obese. There's still a ton of people. There's still 37% of people in that age bracket, either overweight or obese. And that's the least likely group, okay? So that's what I mean. Once you come out of that kind of, once you reach 25, that's when all that shit starts happening. Like the obesity, the overweight rates, like they start to fly, they start to skyrocket. Because like if you've already got 37% of people who are overweight and obese, well, by the time you hit 25, 26, probably going to be like 50% of people in that bracket. Okay, so 50% of guys your age are obese or overweight. So it's just like 1 in 2 is already out of the game. Do you know what I mean? And then each year you go further on along that path, even if each person's only adding 1 or 2% body fat each year from alcohol, not going to the gym, not taking care of themselves, the pool of men that you're competing with is pathetic. It's tiny. Like, I'm in a situation now where, to be honest, I was going to make a separate video on this, but I'll talk about it now, right? I'm in a situation now where, like, there's not a lot of competition. It's one big reason why I moved here, because I looked at the guys and I was like, there's not really anybody who can compete with me. So, you know, obviously there's the odd handsome guy and the odd in-shape guy, but I think as a collective, I'm out on my own. I think I'm probably top 1% here, if not top 0.1%. I might be leading the way. So I don't really see, you know, a problem there. And it was a big reason for me moving here. And there's one thing you guys got to do. You've got to take advantage of that great filter, because, and like I said, I was going to talk about this on another video, but I'll talk about it now. If you want to know like how fake social media is, like how easy the world actually is to navigate in the sense of competition amongst like men, get in decent shape. Okay, and for example, I came back from the gym the other day. I had a good pump on. I'm in pretty good shape. I'll bring it up on screen now. And I just walked down the street with this tank top on. I was just walking down the street, minding my own business, went and got a matcha green tea. And I was just strolling around, whatever. And I kind of forget, because I've been so closed off for so long, like in my room, in my garage, whatever, just working, just editing, just doing what I need to do, that I forgot what the public world is like. And I've been on social media so much, I've almost like changed my perception. And you get in this pattern where you think everybody's jacked, everybody's handsome, everybody's whatever. But I was walking down the street in public, just a normal area, and every single woman is checking me out, right? I'm just going to be honest here, because it's just easier to explain to you guys. Because I've said in the past, oh, I look like a spud, I was a 2 out of 10, so you just know I'm being legit when I say stuff like this. But every single woman was checking me out of all levels, like 2s to fucking, probably walk past like a couple 7s, you know, as you do on a normal day. Every single guy is like checking you out, asking you what your routine is, what you do. You know, older men especially, because they're a little bit more confident, aren't they? Younger guys are like, I don't want to ask him, he's my age, I feel a bit weird. But you get like 40-year-old guys that are like, you must go to the gym, what do you do, where do you go? Yeah, I need to start going to the gym. Basically, what I'm trying to say to you guys is you're a fucking celebrity. Like a bus comes past and there's like 18 people sat on it and they're all looking at you. They're all watching you. Like, that is how social media has blinded us. You only have to just look well above average. You know, you only have to put in like 3 years of training, put on something tight, something brief, you know, where your arms are out or whatever. And about 95% of the public, of the general public, are just staring at you, gawking at you like you're some sort of Greek god or something like that. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. And we've almost lost that notion. We've almost forgot that that's a thing that exists. And the point I'm trying to make here is that when you reach those ages, guys, that like 25 bracket and then beyond, there's just such little competition. Like barely any guys still exist that are, you know, noteworthy. And do you know what the other thing is as well? You've got to think about this from the female perspective. Okay, guys, I just spat all over the lens. What was that about? You've got to think about this from the female perspective. I like younger women, okay? I like women that are like 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, around about that bracket. I feel like that's ideal for me. It's just what I enjoy at 29 years old. I find it more fun. And those women are still obviously attracted to guys that are like 29, 30 years old, whatever, that are in shape, doing well for themselves. Of course they are, okay? Right, so I'm saying, like, go after those women if you can. They've got lower body counts, they've got less breakups in the locker, whatever. They're better to be around. They're going to be attractive for longer. It works better with the male advantage, right? But I feel sorry for the bracket of women from like 25 to 30, 25 to 29, okay? The ones that are still pretty, the ones that have still, you know, that have stayed in the gym, that are fighting aging the best that they can, that don't go out and get drunk every single night of the week like some girls. And they look good. They've got a decent job. They're pretty high up in the world. They're attractive women. I feel sorry for those girls because as the figures say there, 56% of guys 16 to 24, because I imagine it's quite universal with the population being split in the UK, they're normal weight. And that's the UK as well, guys. There's countries that are way fatter. But 56% are at normal weight. So basically half of guys are at normal weight between those brackets, okay? By the time you get to like, I haven't got the statistics, but by the time you get from like the 29 to 30 bracket, I would say normal weight, maybe like 15% of men, okay? And then out of those 15% of men, how many are actually in good shape? They go to the gym, maybe 5%, you know, maybe we dwindle that down to 5%. Then out of that 5% of guys, how many guys are actually, you know, mature enough, got a decent job, got decent assets and stuff like that? We're probably down to like 1%, 0.5%. So the pool of men that these women are able to choose from is pathetic. It's tiny. It's basically non-existent. Like, she's not going to meet, like, you will walk down any street in the UK, America, Canada, wherever you want to go. I've lived in 2 of them. And you will see, at least in 1 hour, you will see at least 100, 200, 300, 400 women that you would probably marry. Do you know what I mean? That you would settle down with, you would have kids with, whatever your fucking thing is, that you would fuck, okay? You'd see so many in an hour. If you walk through Toronto, New York, Miami, London, whatever, you'd see like 400 or 500. There's so many. In reverse, for women, how many men would they see that they would actually, you know, do one of the above that I mentioned with? It'd be tiny. Be tiny. In an hour, they'd maybe see 2, maybe 2 or 3. Okay, that's how small that pool is. It's so rare for there to be like guys that are on a high level, and that's when the great filter comes along. Like, don't get me wrong, once women get past 28, 29, it just declines rapidly. By 26, it's all like the first early signs of her decline are showing. Okay, so you're kind of coming up while she's going down, but you're of equal value, so she's still very valuable to you. But the point I'm making is the women from 25 to 29, it's almost like it's too easy. Like, there's some beautiful women in that bracket, okay, that have kept themselves looking nice. You can clean up pretty much any single one of them whenever you want, because, like I said, there's no guys that are on a decent level. And then all the younger women as well, the guys their age don't have money. So you just get to, like I said, this point where you get to the great filter from 25 to 20, 25 to 30, where year upon year, as long as you're the guy putting the work in, making more money, building your life setup, building your frame, taking care of yourself, exchanging bad habits for good habits, like I don't drink alcohol. I obviously had those 3 pints, but I don't drink alcohol. I go to bed early. I've got a skincare routine. I'll spend £100 per month on skincare products now, rather than £100 a month on or a week on alcohol, like some guys do. Okay, it's little things like that. So once you start exchanging those bad habits, most guys won't. And it's the aggregation of marginal gains. When I was saying to Hamza the other day, like, how the fuck can a lot of these guys compete? I was walking around this area and I was thinking, I've done submental exercises this morning. I've been to the gym. I've earned more money in a day than they will earn in the month. I've put on some decent clothes. I've taken some natural diuretics and some men's lifestyle supplements, so my face is looking lean, testosterone's up. It's quite funny, I was actually on the balcony sunning my bollocks, sunning my testicles, for those of you don't know what bollocks are. I just had my bollocks out through the side of my shorts. No, I don't have any content. No, I did not film that, and I will not show you that. Probably more so for the sake of you guys. I'm not ashamed. But I was just sunning my balls. I was just like, let's raise that testosterone. It's a private balcony. Nobody can see me. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, let's give it a test. I've always wanted to do it. And, testosterone's gone through the roof because of that. I just feel so much better. I'm getting more sunlight. Like, there's data to prove all of this stuff. Like I said, I'm taking natural diuretics, doing submental exercises, putting on £100 worth of skincare. I'm in the great filter. I'm in the male advantage. Like, who is my competition? Who's doing that? It's like some of these guys are just waking up after 2 or 3 beers, not going to the gym, strolling down the local pub, having a roast dinner. If you're not from the UK, it's just some shitty food that'll make you feel like shit. Loads of gravy and all that stuff. And then they're like, I can't find a woman. It's like, you're not operating on the same level. It's not even, oh, they can't do what I'm doing. They just don't even know what I'm doing exists. There's a difference, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to do. I'm trying to get you through the great filter. I'm trying to navigate you guys through the jungle, because it's so difficult to not give in to the peer pressure, to not sleep around in your youth because you're just naturally in shape and you've got a nice head of hair. But then once you get to like 25, you start putting on a bit of weight, you haven't got the money, women start prioritizing different things. Other guys that you know start leveling up, you can't compete, like you're not chaperoned by parents or career advisors or teachers anymore, and left to your own devices, you start fucking up. I've done it. I was eating certain foods and drinking certain beverages that just weren't helping my body, that were just making me feel like shit. And then you lose your hair and you're like, how do I navigate this? I'm going to the gym, but I don't know what I'm doing. And if you can just figure all of this shit out, and just, no matter where your starting point is, where your genetics are, no matter what's going wrong in your life, i.e., I was born with big ears, I went bald. For you, those of you who are looking like, actually, Chris, you've got hair, I've got SMP as a head tattoo. With that natural light, it probably looks pretty good, I can't really see, but it's a head tattoo. But yeah, big ears, bald, skinny, fat guy, not really a decent jawline, didn't look too good and whatever, so things were going wrong, but I just trusted in that process. Because I knew that the great filter was coming. I knew about the great filter when I was like 18 years old. I knew about the male advantage by like 22. I could just see it. I could just figure all this shit out. I just knew what was coming. Probably more like 2021. But I was concrete at like 22. I really knew because I wrote a book on it. I wasn't even at that age yet, and I knew what was coming. You could just see the great filter. Like guys hit. I spoke to a few older women as well when I was younger, and they were like, by about 25, 26, guys start to either decline, or you just, the ones who are really good looking, you see them drop off. Here's the thing, actually, truth be told, I actually think aging works very much the same way for men and women, but men have the ability to stop it. Men have the ability to improve depending on what they're working on. Women can work as hard as they want, and all they will do is slow aging down. All they will do is just delay the inevitable by 4 or 5 years. That's it. Whereas with a man, you can, if you work your absolute tits off and you get the money, the assets, the body, whatever, you will age naturally. Of course you will. You might decline. You might be losing your hair at the time. But if you keep working on yourself, you will be bumped up in so many different other areas that it will be irrelevant. It just won't matter. Okay? So that's the way I think it works. But just, if you ever feel down, guys, okay, 2 things. If you ever feel down, like I said, go out into the general public and just walk around and just realize that shit, most people are fucking rock bottom. Most people are not in shape. Most people don't look good. Most people look terrible, first and foremost. But secondly, search some statistics, because statistics will make you feel good, okay? And I know people say stuff like, oh yeah, but that's just on paper. What's happening in real life, whatnot. Life is a numbers game. It was when I did sales, it is when you approach women, it is when I'm trying to build a YouTube audience and sell products. It's all a numbers game. Everything revolves around numbers, okay? If you were to look at, like, for example, from 25 to 29, there's 3.7 million guys. It's 3.7 million people, I believe, in the UK. That might be guys, I don't know. Either way, it's fucking nothing. It's a tiny pool of people. Out of that selection of people, it's like 60% overweight or obese, okay? Out of the remaining 40%, most aren't in good shape. The ones who are lean or, considered healthy by a doctor are just skinny. They don't go to the gym, they don't do it properly. So, you're down to like 10% of men actually looking half decent at that point, maybe even 5%. How many are making decent money? Do you know what I mean, guys? When you start breaking this stuff down and you actually look at it for what it is, you go, if I just put in a little bit of work, I might in a bracket on my own, but you will hit the great filter. You will get to 25 and you will watch your friends start to decline. You will watch the high school heroes, the jocks, start to decline because they're not putting the work in. They've got bad habits. And by the time, and like I said to Hamza, by the time he reaches 29, he's going to be out in the world on his own. He's going to be sat there at 29 going, there's like, I probably meet 10 people per year that are on my level, that are my age. Like, this is a serious thing, guys. Like, if you can just stay focused, keep putting that work in, stay disciplined, don't do the shit that everyone else is doing. Like, everyone else going out getting drunk on a Saturday night. You can go out, guys. This is the thing. But if you don't drink, you can go out 7 nights a week. You know, there's so many benefits to living clean and actually having a decent life and just doing what I've done. Like, I'm sat up here now in pretty ridiculous shape by my standards. I think it's pretty fucking unbelievable what I've been able to achieve naturally as well. If I got on like testosterone or something, I think I'd be as big as Mike Thurston, if not bigger. I've managed to achieve that. I'm sat in a penthouse right now. I've got large social followings. I've got a nice Range Rover downstairs. You know, like I said, I'm 29 years old. I've not met a guy in this town yet, and I've been here for 2 weeks, that I would be like, wow, I need to get to his level. So what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that I've got access to every single woman, probably 40 and below, you know, that I could be, if, obviously I don't want the 40-year-olds, but I'm just saying, I could, you know, I doubt a 40-year-old single woman would say no, and I doubt an 18-year-old single woman would say no, so everything in between counts, right? So you just go, okay, well, like, that's a statistics game. That's a numbers game. Like, I've worked my bollocks off to make that happen. And because I got into the Great Filter years, and I watched most other people decline, not work on themselves, not necessarily not decline as a man, sometimes you just don't evolve. You just don't add anything to your life. You don't add anything new. You don't add the muscle. You're just who you were when you were 18. You've still got like the skinny neck and shit like that. Like that's a problem within itself because you're not evolving, okay? And like I said before, times evolve, people evolve, and the guys who move on, they set the new standards. So just watch out, but embrace the Great Filter, guys, because if, like I said, if you ever feel down, go and look at statistics, go and break it down, actually look at it as a numbers game. And you just end up realizing, like, fuck, like one in like every 500 guys is actually high level. Or something like that, okay? And then you divide the population of the place that you're in and you go, there's maybe like 28 of us. There's maybe like 28 guys that are on this level, okay? And what age group they're... 50% of them are older than me. Or it's probably more, do you know what I mean? It's like 90% of them are older than me. Do you see what I mean? Like, when you break it down, you go, fuck, like, rarity is actually really easy to find when you put the work in. Everyone thinks it's some esoteric Chris Hemsworth, Jeremy Meeks level that you need to reach, but that's social media. When you actually get out into the world, you go, this is crazy. Like, I had a girl message me the other day with 700,000 subscribers, or followers on Instagram. I had another one with 35,000 just message me out of the blue. It's just changing, like, day by day. It's just changing step by step. It's crazy, okay? And it's because, like I said, once you get to a certain age bracket, there is such little competition. And it drops off as you get, like, as you keep getting older. It drops off. It becomes even easier. Like, if you can retain and look good and make more money and whatnot, if you're like a 40-year-old guy who's in shape, you're like one of one. It's just fucking, it's so tough to find guys that are in shape by like 40, 50 years old. But the reason I'm talking about 25 to 29 is it's because it kind of separates those who weren't working hard against those who are. You just get to see it for the first time. It's like a sluice, it's like a grill, and you just see it, like everything's passing through it, and it just separates the men from the boys. It's just such a nice age to, like I said, embrace it, guys, because that percentage is going to start working in your favor. And there's women out there that are like 26 years old that are like, don't get me wrong, like I said before, I want 21, 22, but there's women out there that are like 26 years old, absolutely stunning, low body counts, you know, she's just trying to find a decent guy and she can't find one. There's basically nobody her age that's on her level. Like, it's so easy once you get to that point. Do you see what I mean, guys? And then there's 21-year-old women that are like, all the guys my age are immature, they don't have money, but all the older guys are out of shape. Like, there's nobody with the balance, with the blend. Oh, then you come along. Like, you're such a rarity. You know, it's just, like I said, it's just the Great Filter, guys. It just separates the men from the boys. It just changes the game. It's probably... How can I describe this? It's perhaps the intro to the male advantage. Yeah, I'd say it's the intro. It's the pathway to the male advantage. Okay, when you, because most guys look pretty decent from like 16 to 24. As in, I'm not saying they're high level. They're like, compared to like a Henry Cavill, they look like shit. But I'm just saying, for their age group, in a localized manner, like just in their school, they look pretty good. Do you know what I mean? They got hair, they got low body fat. It's quite easy to do. But once that Great Filter comes along, starts to, diminish those numbers. It's the work that's required to get to the male advantage. So stay focused, guys. Stay disciplined. If some of you are like 18 watching this and you're thinking, oh, my life's not too good, I promise you, just keep putting that work in, because life just kind of moves into it just moves in the male's favor. It just moves over to our side and it just says, hey, here's some advantages. Most other guys are going to look like shit. You're going to naturally put on some muscle. You're going to naturally make more money by inheriting money, get a pay rise because you're older, shit like that. It just starts to come together. As long as you can work with us here, this is live talking, by the way, as long as you can work with me here and you can keep yourself in shape, you can diet well, you can get early nights, you can look after yourself, I'll meet you in the middle with the rest of the shit and everything's going to come together. Check out the First Man Men's Lifestyle Supplement by using the links below.